Hi, my name is Nils Naujoks and I'm a professional sim racer for G2 Esports. Overall, there's huge debate in sim racing whether or not hardware can make you faster. I don't think in particular if you have the talent, the hardware will make you shine or put you at the back of the field. In the past 2 decades, sim racing equipment has made a major leap. Of course, we were taking deeper takes onto pedals, racing wheels, PCs and of course monitors as well. In particular, the monitor in sim racing is like one of the few connections you have to the car. Everything is perceived visually in the first place, and therefore it's really important to have high frame rates, low response rates of the monitor, because this gives you a competitive advantage in the end and makes it easier for you to perceive what the car is doing.
Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome along to our final, sadly, round of the official UK Mini Challenge eSeries. Richard John Neal with Antony Williams. Antony, very good morning. How are you? Welcome back.
Good morning, Richard. I'm very well, thank you.
Well, it's good to have you alongside us in the virtual commentary box for our final round. And we've had a good number of guest commentators. It's been really, really diverse with drivers from all age ranges. It's been absolutely superb. But great to have you back with us for this final event of the season here on the GP circuit, which of course mirrors what happens in real life. We try and do that as much as possible over all of the rounds that we've had. The 8 weeks gone quickly for you, mate?
Yeah, we've been really busy getting all the little bits sorted out, ready for the start of the season and rearranging things after the delayed start. So yes, it's been a busy time, and I'm sure it will still be busy over the next few weeks before the start of the season.
Absolutely right. I think the guys called it pretty well in terms of the dates, because we didn't know when we were going to get going. Here's where we are, Brands Hatch GP. We've had 60 minutes of practice already. Qualifying will get underway at 10 o'clock, 15 minutes. Race 1 and Race 2, 20 minutes each. Race 2, of course, having the grid decided by the result of Race 1, the top 12 being reversed. This iconic race circuit is one where the drivers actually really do get a lot more out of their sim experience, because it's a track that's not really used that much for testing or other races. So this is a really good opportunity for these guys to get some serious competition on the Grand Prix circuit, which is one of my absolute favourite tracks to go and watch at. I think Brands, funny enough, I was looking at the photos, some of my old snaps going back many years to my first visit to Brands Hatch, and it's still, when I get in there, it still makes the hairs on the back of the neck go up. It's just a wonderful place to go to. If you've never been, then it is definitely worth a visit. Rich Hayden is our race director again today, and your England Clark, of course, they're going to be working hard, as they are on all of the rounds and between the rounds, of course, looking at any protests that come through. Here's our calendar. As you can see, week 8, sadly at the end of our second campaign, but it's been a thoroughly enjoyable one, and we all learn as we go through the campaigns, and it's been building superbly. We'll come on to championships in a minute. Here's the schedule. Qualifying about to get underway shortly, the 2 races, and at the end of the programme we're going to chat to the podium finishes overall in the championship in each of the 2 classes as well. So make sure you stay with us after the conclusion of race 2. Hashtag Mini Challenge UK eSeries if you want to join the debate online. We've had loads of messages already. It must be because Antony's back. We've got loads of messages on from Thomas Day saying good morning, Dan Gower saying go Alfie. Respect to Alfie Denny. Mike Brennan was, I think, first to post this morning. So is that going to be indicative of Jordan Brennan getting out quick as well? Thomas Day. John Gordon says go Max. Minifest is online as well. Loads of other messages coming through as well. Jeff Evanson online as well. So absolutely fantastic that people are getting involved. I think Antony's going to try and help me keep an eye on that. Here's the championship standings, with Dave Marshall confirmed as the winner of the sim category, and possibly overall as well. If he has a mare this weekend, Mike Epps could still tip him to the overall championship, but Mike Epps, the real world drivers champion. Third in the championship, second in the sims is Jack McIntyre. Jack is 17 points clear of Jordan Brennan, who runs third in the sim category. Those guys fighting it out for a test day in Mini Cooper. That's one mega prize, Antony.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, it's great to be able to offer the guys the opportunity to do that, and therefore translate their sim racing experience into the real world. Unfortunately, the test that we had last year had to be postponed, and so what we might end up doing actually is the winners from last year being on the same day as the winners from this year.
That sounds absolutely great. And the non-toker round for Dave Marshall. Gemma Lambert says hello. Hi, Gemma. Good to see you on social media. Our hot lap today is from the man who runs 16th in the championship in the GT Omega RPM Esports car. It's Jack Noller. Here's his lap.
Hello, I'm Jack Noller, driving the 36 car for GT Omega RPM Esports, and this is my lap for Brands Hatch GP. Coming into turn 1, brake at the 2 marker, not hitting the apex too hard to keeping speed on the exit. Before now braking under the bridge for the slight double apex at Druids, rotating the car mid-corner on throttle, before heading down the hill to Graham Hill Bend, getting to the right, staying in 4th, using all the exit you can and more to carry all the speed towards 30s. Braking late and getting as late apex as you can to close off the exit and straighten it up for the longest straight on the track. Here in the GP loop is going to take a lot of commitment and a lot of screaming front left tyres. So we'll hit the brakes and take 5th through Hawthorns, carry as much mid-apex speed as you can before heading towards Westfield, which will hit the brakes and turn through 4th gear, carrying as much exit as we can before going towards the difficult Sheen curve, which is a blind turning and blind braking, as you make sure you don't run wide on the exit, as that's almost certain to end someone's race. Using all the bankings through Stirling to carry as much speed towards the final pull-up curve. Here, coming back on the Indy circuit, being careful not to clip that inside apex curve, as it can throw you on 2 wheels, and not clipping the exit gravel. Now hitting run back to the line, and it's just been, that's a lap of Brands Hatch. It's been a difficult season, but hopefully to end it on a high.
Fantastic. Many thanks to Jack Noller for doing that. Serious newcomer, of course, joined the championship for us this year, and great to have him as our guide around the GT circuit. The cars are going to be out on their outlap. In fact, they are. Qualifying underway, as you can see, and there is Andy Dorman. One thing I did note was track limits, wasn't it, on that little video that we saw, and that's extremely difficult to police. You might get so many, so there are a little bit of sort of leeway as we go through the calendar on track limits from here and there. But the key thing is that everybody, of course, is working to the same rules. Andy Dorman currently 18th in the championship, 15 points to his name, running in the sim category, the Eden Garage Motorsports car, getting his run out in the country, as we call it here at Brands Hatch. Some more messages coming through on social media. Vanessa Burrows, fantastic series this has been. Vanessa says, good luck to all drivers in the final round. Let's smash it, but not literally. From all here at AOC Gaming. And a big thank you to AOC Gaming, one of our key sponsors. Cooler Master UK, the other one. Championship prizes, of course, we've already spoken about the drive that Dave Marshall will get as the sim champion. He'll get 2 weekends now with the Coopers in Mini Challenge, which is going to be absolutely mega. I can't wait to see him on track for real. But of course, the real world drivers get some super prizes too. And Mike Epps was rightly on social media saying how delighted he was with his to win his first prize of the year, a Riggs Simrace 5 chassis, GTF5 race seat, AccuForce V2 Pro Direct drive wheel, OBP pedals. Absolutely mega prizes on this championship. It's why we've got such a great field that's been put together by the whole team, and a really good mix of the sim racers and the real world drivers. And Anthony, it's important to have the sim lads along, isn't it? A, for the comparison, but B, it kind of dangles a tantalising carrot for them to maybe get involved in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. This really was set up originally because clearly everybody had a bit of time spare during the first lockdown. But actually, yeah, it's a way for sim racers to perhaps get a little taste of the real world, but also for the real racers to perhaps just hone their sim racing skills. And having the two racing each other definitely creates that bit of extra credibility. And it is good to see them being so mixed up. I think originally we thought that we could end up with effectively two very clearly distinct classes, but that's not been the case.
No, it's been a real mix, isn't there? And the other great thing has been seeing how some of the sim racers have, you know, improved, and the real world drivers improved in their efforts over the course of the season. And whilst we've rightly been looking at the top end, you know, we've been keeping an eye on those drivers bagging their first points as well. There's our first look, I think, at Dave Marshall on the inset, our champion. So there is the Machine Marshall at work, Machine Maestro Marshall. That's the first time we've actually seen him doing his business.
That's one thing we can certainly say, that he's always going to be up there, isn't he? And clearly is proving that again this season.
P4 at the moment, as he comes in the 10 tenths coaching car into pit lane. Max Edmondson, though, has provisional pole right now from Jordan Brennan. Juggy Bear in second place. Mike Epps, again, Mr. Consistency and Mr. Speed is there in third place. Jack McIntyre fourth. And there is Jack, as ever, looking cool, calm and collected in the 37 Silverstone Composites car. Josh Martin fifth from Luke Kidsley. Then Dave Marshall, Jack Noller, our circuit guide in eighth place from Andy Dorman. Andy gets bumped because we get a change. Jack Noller ninth, Josh Hislop in eighth place. Tom O'Farrell 11th, very healthy position for Tom O'Farrell. And then Ryan Elliott wrapping up the top 12 ahead of Damien Hall, Max Coates and Liam Lambert. So Max has got a bit of work to do from 14th place. I can't remember, Anthony, whether we had the footage of Max on his rig and the inset the last time you were with us, and was that the time he was in the dark and we were making jokes about the candles?
Candlelight, yes. I think it was because of where he lives in the country. They still don't have electric light.
Well, he sorted it out now, and as you can see, he's got his Max Coates branded beanie hat on, and they've put a shilling in the meter.
Indeed.
Younger viewers, a shilling was old currency many years ago, so just showing why age frequently happens on these broadcasts. Unfortunately, there is Max, who's done such a great deal of hard work to put these together, and Max up into the top 10, so into 8th place. That's hard earned. Gets bumped down because Ryan Elliott goes up to 5th. It is all very, very close. That's definitely track limits. You can see that's one area where it's very difficult to police. Down behind him is Damien Hall, the copper piston. Hopefully Damien's last early rise for a while, as this is our final round. The man from Barbados in the Apex Fever car. Again, superb social media following him as we watch Jack Noller. This is the guy that did our hot lap for us. And Jack, one of the few drivers sporting gloves we can see there, but all part of the experience for Jack as he comes through Pilgrim's Drop up towards Hawthorne Bend, as he described it earlier on in our Cooler Master car, one of our key sponsors. Runs a little bit wide there, so that's going to maybe drop Jack off the top 10. Andy Dorman snapping at his heels on the timing clock. And heading down through Dingle Dale. Again, Brands Hatch GP, I think I said this last time, if you do get the chance to visit Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit, if it's not a big meeting and they're using it for a clubby, a really good opportunity to go and walk around the track. It's one of the best things you can do throughout a racing day. And the PA is superb, so you can hear what's going on track in the events. Obviously the endurance events are probably better to do the walk right the way around the track, but it's highly recommended anywhere, I guess. But Brands is just a super place to be able to walk around. There's Simon Reed. Simon's got some support. The People's Champion, the Tugger Army, says Arthur Bell. Charlotte Brennan says good luck, bro, to Juggy Bear. Mike Noller rightly says great lap guide, Jack Noller. Good luck for the race. Loads of social media coming through today, which is great. There's our Bajan copper piston, Damien Hall, working hard going up through Surtees. Mike Epps on provisional pole right now, 1 minute 35.085. Max Edmondson T2 from Jordan Brennan. Jack McIntyre is next up. Then Dan Zelos. Dan sneaking up into the top 6. Really good to hear Dan on the podium last time. Max's first podium, really getting to grips with the race. And there's Alfie Glennie in the Graves Motorsport car. Alfie 19th, a driver who's been gaining in experience over the course of the weeks that we've had here. And at the moment outshining Craig Timmins. Those two having the battle for 19th and 20th on the timing scheme. Kenny Press ahead of then Simon Reed 17th, Damien Hill 16th at the moment. Liam Lambert potentially about to get himself in the points. There is young Ryan Elliott. I think a similar post to the one we had in the extracurricular interviews that we did last year. Actually, I think it's the same setup. I haven't had a chance to talk to any of the drivers this year because we've slotted the interviews into lunch breaks last year, or the session breaks, and we haven't had any breaks. But I have been doing interviews with various people, and you might have caught up with some of my co-commentators. We did Maurice Henry, had a chat with him, still available via my website rjn.com, AREJAYENN.com. And Lydia Walmsley, we had a fantastic amount of people watching the video interview we did with Lydia Walmsley last week. I know she's working hard to try and put the budget together. Hopefully, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that Lydia can come JCW racing. I know they're working very, very hard indeed to make that step up for the Coopers, so fingers crossed that Lydia can do that. And there's Josh Martin, another good look, another beloved driver, and also using the Oculus VR. And you can see just how much more he gets out of that. If you watch that inset, able to actually, look right round. It's not just a question of looking left and right on the screen in front of you, but some superb peripheral vision given by that kit. And Josh, 7th on the grid at the moment. I'm wondering what's happened to Dave Marshall, Anthony, down in 8th place. He's leaving it late today.
Yeah, that is unusual. Once or twice, I think he's done that before when I've been watching. But no, generally speaking, he's there, isn't he, right at the beginning? But who knows? He is the machine after all, and perhaps he just needs to turn that machine up a little bit just for the last few minutes of this session.
I was kind of expecting him to bang it on pole because with the championship wrapped up, the pressure is off. I mean, just to say, in the sim category, Jack McIntyre, who runs P2 at the moment, is on 180 points, and Dave Marshall on 230. So, incredibly 50 points clear. Mike Epps, of course, wants to cut the gap down. While we're talking about gaps, we've still got 3 minutes as we look at Kenny Press, the Hyro Motorsport Treble 8 car. I'm going to talk about the points in the various standings. The top three drivers in each category decided, but not the order. Dave Marshall champion, that's confirmed. Jack McIntyre second, and a 17-point gap to Jordan Brennan. So Jordan looking to try and beat Jack McIntyre by 17 points this weekend in order to get second position in that test drive in the Mini Cooper. It is a VIP day out for the third driver at the touring car meeting. So still all to play for there. In the Real World Drivers' Championship, Mike Epps confirmed as champion, 203 points. Max Edmondson currently second on 144, and Max Coates third on 134. At the moment, Max Edmondson has the upper hand in qualifying today, so he's going to extend that 10-point gap. But remember, there are 20 points available for race wins and 3 bonus points for fastest lap in qualifying and fastest lap in each of the 2 races, as well as we go back to Kenny Press. 2 minutes 21 on the clock. There is Max Edmondson in the MKM car, very consistent youngster, and running a karter, running in the real world category is Max. Wouldn't it be a story if he could depose Mike Epps on pole position here? So working his way down through the Sheen curve, through Stirling's now, and heading down towards Clearways to complete his lap. Let's keep an eye. He's potentially going for pole position. This would be a very neat bit of direction if he can get it. So we're watching it. This is exactly like the British Touring Car Championship qualifying, when you see somebody out on a hot lap, maybe going for pole position, heading down towards the line now. The tension builds as he crosses the line. What's the time going to be? Doesn't do it. It's still Mike Epps on pole position. Max Edmondson, though, 2 tenths down at the moment on Mike Epps. Jordan Brennan still third. Dan Zelos, again, very fast and consistent in the latter stages. Dave Marshall, though, does bang in a quicker time, goes up into 5th place. So Dave Marshall is on row 3, potentially with the man who follows him in the sim racing category in the championship, and that is Jack McIntyre. Max Coates 7th from Ryan Elliott, Luke Kidsley 9th, and Josh Martin in 10th place. 1 minute to go on quali, and it looks, Anthony, as if Mike Epps is going to be there.
It certainly does. And I remember from the previous time I was commentating, obviously Mike's doing really well, and I think I commented that I think he's running under the same team as Dave, and the scrutineers might be wanting to have a look at their cars. But they've both done obviously very well this season, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Teammates worked together in qualifying when they've needed to do that. Looking at Tom O'Farrell, 3 points on the board for Tom in the championship. Great to see him scoring those points in the Holiday Homes Isla car, 23rd in the championship, and would probably have, apart from Damien Hall, the longest distance to travel. I hope that Tom may well make the trip down to Knock Hill, which is currently scheduled for is it 14th and 15th of August? It's definitely my birthday weekend, because I was thinking I've got to drive back home on my birthday, so it's 14th and 15th. It'd be nice if Tom could join us at Knock Hill, but it's a heck of a trip for him, isn't it, down from the islands?
Absolutely, it's a heck of a trip pretty much anywhere from the islands, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last year when we were up at Knock Hill, I took a bit of a drive around bits of Scotland, and
Nice.
It's certainly some long drives.
It's a wonderful thing. It's on my bucket list to go and do the route around the very northernmost part at some point.
Yes, something 500, is it? Something like that?
Yeah. Checkered flag out on the session. Mike Epps has held on to that pole position. Jordan Brennan's still on track at the moment. He's in P2, so a chance that he could usurp pole position. Jordan Brennan second. Max Edmondson is third on the grid. Dave Marshall winding up in fifth, but Epps, I think, gets the Top Gun trophy. Not that there is a trophy. He'll be nagging me now for a trophy now. I've said that, for the driver that gets the most pole positions. So he'll be pleased with that. We will have a word with him. We're very much focused at the moment on Jack Noller down in 12th place. So Jack looking to try and improve on his lap. Good performance from Luke Kidsley today. 8th position on the grid for him, ahead of Max Coates, as Jack Noller comes through the final turn and across the line. We're going to see an improvement from Jack. Finishes in 12th place, so the checkered flag on Jack Noller. Just looking through the other positions, but pole position today going to Mike Epps from Jordan Brennan. I suspect that Mike is already cooling down and probably in part firming. So let's see if we can catch up with pole position man Mike Epps. Mike, are you there? Well done on pole if you are.
Yeah, I'm here, mate. How you doing? That was a good one. I got the lap in quite early and just thought that'll do. I'll park it. So yeah, really good result.
Yeah, job done for you. Busy day as well, because you're racing and I think leading the Touring Car Championship as well. So you're basically chair-bound all day, aren't you?
Yeah, it's bonkers, mate. It's like doing the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500 on the same day. Only the chopper that takes you between the tracks is literally, a 2-second click on the mouse. So it's interesting, but yeah, a lot of testing, a lot of time has to be put into it. I'm quite thankful to have Dave Marshall as a teammate, because he's quite good at sort of finding a few little things during the week while I'm out working, and then we put it together at the weekend.
How does it feel to be the man with the most poles over the course of the season? That's congratulations on that, by the way.
It's not something I think I've achieved in real life in most championships, so it's quite nice to finally achieve it somewhere. I had 4 bits of bacon in my sandwich this morning, and red sauce as always. So
superb.
I think that's the key, Rich.
Yeah, always the start of a successful day. I tell you what, Mike, I'm going to let you get ready for the race, because very often I leave it to the last minute to allow you guys to get ready. But well done on another pole. Good luck for the race.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mike Epps, position today. Jordan Brennan will be starting alongside him. Row 2, Max Edmondson and Dan Zelos. Then Dave Marshall on row 3 with Jack McIntyre. Ryan Elliott is P7 from Luke Kidsley. Max Coates 9th on the 5th row from Josh Martin. Then Josh Hislop and Jack Noller completing the top 12 on the grid. Lewis Brown says Max Edmondson very fast. John Gordon says come on Max Coates. Dan Gower says what happens to Alfie and Josh? Didn't get a chance to. I haven't got my timing screen up separately today. A little bit lax, mainly because we were setting up the Zoom call interviews for the guys. Isaac Smith says, well done, Riggs lads. P2 and 3. Good luck. Isaac Smith, of course, 11th in the championship. Where's Isaac today? Here's the qualifying results, so we can look down. Epps and Jordan Brennan. So it's going to be a race and a half between those two, because Jordan Brennan, like Max Edmondson, of course, and Dan Zelos, Dave Marshall company behind, but Jordan's going to be keen. He's a driver that does not give up. He's going to be gunning for another win, for sure, and to try and catch up with Jack McIntyre on the points. So still very much those second and third places to play for in our two races today. I'm going to put Antony on the spot as usual. Who's your bunny on?
Well, I mean, you've got to go, towards the top of the qualifying order. I mean, based on that, clearly Mike's going to be a favourite, but I think the reality is, based on past experience, you just got to go for Dave again. It's
that could be brave from fifth place. That's yeah.
But,
he has been.
Look, he is. He's just been so incredibly quick all along, and no, I'm going to go for Dave.
And he's been very much, as you rightly point out, been the driver that has been picking his way through. Even in the reverse grid races, last week was a typical case where obviously started on the sixth row of the grid and then just chipped his way through. And when you talk to him in the interviews, he's very modest about what he does. He says, "Oh, it opened up for me and I was lucky." But the point is that he's putting the car where it needs to be, and working hard and providing that precision lap after lap to put in the times to get himself up there. So you're right, he should not be discounted from fifth on the grid. It is a little bit of a disappointing qualifying, I think, for him.
Definitely a bit of a surprise, I'd say, but yeah, as you're saying, I think even with that, he just seems to be able to pull results almost from nowhere. I think it's just that consistency and the discipline of just keep banging in the fast laps, whereas perhaps other people lose their head slightly.
I think you're absolutely right, and he puts the prep time in as well, which is absolutely key. Michelle Dunn says, "Go Bear." Damien Hall says, "Good morning." He's had time to do social media before the race, which is great. Lim Doyen says, "Mike 1010 Epps, very nice. He's doing well." He's doing well, isn't he, Mike Epps? They're in pole position in the black and blue. I've made the comparison before to the Epps livery with Rod Burley's livery. Rod Burley, a Brands Hatch legend, doing a lot of racing elsewhere. Various places over there. We'll talk about Rod later, because we've got 5 lights on now, ready for the off. And out we go into Paddock Hill. Super start by Mike Epps. Good start from the outside of the front row too from Jordan Brennan. Not quite enough power, I don't think, to go around the outside as they go into Paddock, but slots into P2. Max Edmondson in third. Brennan rides the curbs, trying to get that little bit of an advantage as they head up the hill for the first time towards Druids. It looks like a pretty good clean start. Looking at the overhead drone shot, a couple of cars getting sideways and tagging and getting involved. Was that Alfie Glennie, one of those? Certainly a copper-coloured car getting involved. Oh, it was Dan Zelos. Thanks, Mike, for picking that up, who had a little bit of an issue. Top two getting away, but look who's up into third from fifth on the grid. It looks like Antony's prediction could come true, because Dave Marshall has come through from fifth into fourth. Fifth into third. Ryan Elliott fourth from Josh Martin. Luke Kisley, Josh Hislop seventh. Max Edmondson in 8th place, but good start by Epps and Brennan, equal to each other off the start as they come down Pilgrim's Drop for the first time through Hawthorne. Potential passing place. There is Max Edmondson, and safety car deployed, so you're probably wondering why they were slowing up, and Epps has got the job. It will be a fairly short one, I would imagine, because it's quite a long lap. Epps has got the job of, once we've picked the safety car up, of letting them go once again. A clean enough start as they go through Stirling's, and again you can see nicely on the footage there that the drop away from Stirling's Bend under the bridge and down towards Clearways as the safety car comes onto track. So we're going to get 1 lap behind the safety car. I did see a scenario, and I can't remember what formula it was in. It might have been MG Trophy, where we were using the full circuit at Alton Park, and it got very confused because the safety car board came out right at the very start of a lap, and the marshals did an absolutely superb job and got the incident cleared by the time the cars had come around to the end of the lap, if that makes sense. So there was actually no safety car, but and it confused the race organiser, the championship administrator, because he said, hang on, where's the safety car? But the marshals had cleared it, so race control made the correct decision to allow the cars to race on. So not sure whether that could have been the scenario. And there's a view of Rich Hayden's room, which looks very nice. Can't see Rich, but he's our safety car driver.
I think we can see his hand.
the hand of Hayden. That could be sounds like a novel waiting to be written, doesn't it? So Rich Hayden bringing them around, and it does give them the chance to calm down. Dan Gower says, go Alfie. I wonder if Isaac Smith's going to respond. Where are you, Isaac? We need you out on track. Probably concentrating on getting himself sorted out. He's a little bit coy last week, wasn't he, about the announcement that he was due to make, but I was hoping he might get a podium this week and make an announcement for us. But great that he's watching, such is the loyalty of Isaac Smith. So the Riggs Esport Racing Team, real world racer, 11th in the championship, might get bumped down from that this weekend. And there is the view of the man ready to take the restart. Mike Epps would have done this many times. Busy, of course, as you heard, in the real world, out coaching now, which is good. So Mike ready to go from Jordan Brennan. This should be an absolute cracker between the two of them. Rich Hayden has pulled the pace car into pit lane, as you can see, and we're ready to go. Mini Challenge official eSeries racing here on Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit once again. So Mike Epps leads them through. Get to see a full racing lap in anger. Josh Hislop snapping away there. Max Edmondson as they come up towards Druids once again. Neat tidy here. Move on the outside line from Liam Lambert. Liam very well up here, 9th position, higher than we've seen him up before. So having scored his first championship points, now looking at getting stuck into the top 10. They're one of the drivers signed up, I think, already for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a great job at the end of last year and surprised everyone, I think, with his results.
Yeah, quick racing family, the Lamberts. His dad was quick. I shocked Liam, and I've not mentioned this for a while, but shocked him by saying that he used to watch his dad racing, and apparently that was 25 years ago. Not on the big circuits, it was in short circuits, super stock car racing. Quick family, great character as well. His dad had a black stock car with a bulldog putting a chain on the side. It was a really iconic car, and it got a lot of following. Made a real impression, as I think Liam will on the championship as well. He's in P11, and just to put it in perspective at the moment, just behind Jack McIntyre, who is P2 in the sim racing championship. So Dave Marshall working hard in the 66 car, looking to try and close up on Jordan Brennan. The safety car might have helped Dave Marshall out a little bit, as we watch Liam Lambert still there in 11th place. Runs a little bit wide, makes a mistake. Jack Nuller goes through the inside line. That was cursed to the commentator, which Alex Toth-Jones was worried about last weekend, Anthony. Dan Zelos side by side with Jack Noller, and Zelos through. So Zelos recovering from that moment on the first lap of the race. Jack Noller trying to get back on terms with him as they go through Druids. Zelos dropped a fair amount, didn't he? Started in P4 outside of row 2 off the start, back with the race leaders now. And are we going to see Antony Williams' prediction come true? Because Dave Marshall, as we said, probably didn't need the help of the safety car in all honesty, but Ryan Elliott in 4th running well. Nice to see Ryan at the front of the fastest off the front race, 4th position at the moment. But it's Dave Marshall who's challenging and trying to hunt down Jordan Brennan in P2. Mike Epps out front along the Derek Minter Straight, which lies between Hawthorne and Westfield, then down into Dingledale, through into Sheen Curve. Absolutely iconic names that Brands Hatch have named their straights and corners after. And Dave Marshall having a look here. Is he going to be able to tee up the line as they come out of Stirling's Bend, down the hill again towards Clearways? A little bit of contact there on the back end of the 2nd place car of Jordan Brennan, and that actually dislodges the 66 car, looking a bit uncomfortable. And Ryan Elliott now coming up in the mix. Marshall getting everything back together as we ride on board with the double champion in the mini challenge official eSeries. Third place, dropping back a little bit from Jordan Brennan, now getting a run, and on the inside line as they come up into Druid. So Dave Marshall used his momentum well there. Watch for Ryan Elliott to try and come through as well on the inside. It'll be the outside for Graham Hill Bend for Ryan, but a neat move from Dave Marshall there, Anthony.
Oh, that was a beautiful move. He just got carried the speed through Paddock Hill Bend down the hill and managed to slingshot past up towards Druids. Great move there.
The two champion teammates, first and second now, but Mike Epps has got just under a second lead over his teammate at the moment. Whether that little tap that wasn't intentional, they never are in racing, generally aren't in racing, whether that tap will attract the attention of Andy Ringland and Rich Hayden in the course of the week. It depends whether Jordan will maybe put in a protest about that. I suspect Jordan probably won't. There is a full, as well as the sort of complaints procedure, there's also an appeal procedure which the team have put together. What a great shot that was! Jordan Brennan raising a wheel, and we were on board at exactly the right moment to see how much momentum the car lost as a result of that from the seat of Ryan Elliott. Great direction from Mike Yao once again, as Mike Epps extends the lead, 1.4 seconds now. Dave Marshall under pressure from Jordan Brennan. Ryan Elliott in fourth. We're on board with Ryan, watching him, working hard, looking at the concentration from the youngster. Josh Martin is in fifth, having a super run. On his own at the moment in the black, green and white car. But having a good run in fifth place is Josh Martin. Max Edmondson is in fifth from Luke Kidsley. Jack McIntyre 8th. Josh Hislop 9th. Max Coates and Dan Zelos 10th and 11th from Jack Noller. Watching Juggy Bear again getting stuck in. Dave Marshall, cool, calm and collected under pressure, but Jordan Brennan, as we've seen from previous rounds, does not let his head go down. He will always fight back. Great racing mentality again from Jordan Brennan. Great on the interviews as well. He's so laid back when we get him up on the podium, and you can actually never remember, or seem to remember, where he's had the podiums and high up finishes before. But this is great action. Looking back at the second place car, the Sim champion, the outright championship leader, Jocelyn going on just a tad further back as Max Coates looks at Josh Hislop. That's the 9th place. Hislop in the fluorescent coloured car. Max is going to look through. He's got Dan Zelos all over the back of him in the Davanti eSport car, the Davanti tyre sponsored machine, running well. And again, you get a great idea there of how once you start to get a little bit defensive, you can end up dropping away from the cars in front. This is taking the pressure off Josh Hislop as Dan Zelos and Max Coates start to engage in a little bit of a scrap. Coming through off the Grand Prix, back onto Luke, back onto the club circuit here. The 71 car. Remember, Matt Coates looking to try and close in on Max Edmondson points wise. So Max Edmondson has the upper hand at the moment. He is in 6th place, getting loads of social media for Simon Reed again. Arthur Bell says, let's go Reedy, number 35. So good for him. And Mike Epps still out front. What's the gap? 1.9 seconds. Epps looking comfortable from Dave Marshall at the moment. And this battle between Josh Hislop up into 9th place. Jack McIntyre now is going to be the subject of attention. The blue and white 37 car, the Silverstone Composites car, going through Surtees, uphill climb, and then they'll go down into Pilgrim's Drop on the GP loop here. So let's see whether Josh Hislop can climb just that little bit further up with 8 minutes already in the second half of this first race. Now let's look back and try and pick up on some key issues points wise. Simon Reed's in points again, car 35. He potentially is on to get a 5th championship point for 15th place. Liam Lambert's recovered well from his off, coming out of Clark Curve, and he's into 14th place, battling for points to Damien Hall and Tom O'Farrell. And Jack McIntyre losing out while I was talking about the various points. Provisional pole for race 2 at the moment with Jack Noller, but wherever you look, very keen racing, just like the real thing.
No, absolutely, it really is. And you tend to find this, don't you? You just get little packs of sort of between 3 and 6 cars grouped together, and what you said earlier on, once you start defending, the lap times just start to slip away, and that creates those gaps. So it sort of ends up bunching up a few cars together when they end up racing each other. And that's what's happened here with Dave, really, isn't it? Dave Marshall, he was looking super quick, but then got into a position where he made that move and then ended up defending, and that's where that gap's come from.
Yeah, Mike Epps is going to be very grateful for that. Neither of them overly, of course, concerned. I did wonder whether we'd see more risk-taking from Dave and Mike Epps as we watch Damien Hall getting stuck in here. So Damien Hall with Simon Reed. This is for 15th place. So this is for the last point. It's an absolutely crucial matter to be decided here. And Damien Hall on the outside line. Reedy, as they come towards us, was on the right of shot. So Damien Hall up into 15th place. Simon Reed demoted for 5th there. And look at Damien Hall. Look at the grin on his face. He's absolutely loving it. That is what it's about. Love that shot. Superb stuff from Mike, picking up on that at exactly the right time. And Simon Reed, the People's Champion, I wonder if he gets a prize for that, Reedy. He's under pressure again as Damien Hall looks around the outside line as they exit Westfield down through Dingledale Sheen Curve once again. At the moment, that's settled. Damien Hall is going to nestle in that 15th place for a little bit before Simon Reed will attempt to recapture some momentum and composure and get himself back on the case. Back on the case as well is Luke Kidsley, who looks on the inside line of Max Edmondson there. That is for 6th position. Very neatly done by Luke. Another very good driver coach. Runs wide though, a little bit too much momentum maybe on the inside line. You have to do that sometime. And a great repass there by Max Edmondson, and a really good bit of racing between the pair of them. Up to Druids. Still Damien Hall, and I said that Simon Reed was going to get a bit of momentum going back again, and he's doing that. He's putting the pressure on Damien Hall here again. Coming down from Druids into Graham Hill Bend. Luke Kidsley, meanwhile, still nibbling away at Max Edmondson, wants to get that place back. Very clearly got the pace. Edmondson, of course, having to defend a fair amount here, as he's already seen Kidsley go past once. Dab on the brakes as they go through Hawthorne. This is the Derek Minter straight down towards Westfield. Kidsley, you just feel, has got that little bit of extra oomph. It's whether he can contain the momentum if he makes a pass, so as he doesn't run wide wherever he makes that pass to allow the number 4 car back through, as we saw on the previous lap. Max Coates is up ahead of Josh Hislop again. You can see on the timing screen, and behind this battle, so Coates back into 8th place. Mike Epps, meanwhile, out front, has got the lead out to 2.4 seconds from Dave Marshall. Jordan Brennan still in 3rd, and Luke Kidsley working hard. Look how tight he goes to the apex there. Is he going to get a run here down the straight into Paddock Hill Bend? Drops away a little bit at the moment, does the 08 car. So down into Paddock again. We joined Dan Zelos there in 10th place. The Savante Esports car, Jack McIntyre, trying to recover in 11th. Josh Hislop ahead of him, and Max Coates in 8th, actually trying to get away. The white, red and black car ahead of the fluorescent coloured machine there, having made that move on the previous lap. Needs to try and close down on Luke Kidsley and Max Edmondson, so that will change the complexion of the Kidsley-Edmondson battle for 6th place if he can close up. 4 minutes and 17 seconds remaining, with Mike Epps still out front and looking good here for a lights to flag victory. Dave Marshall P2, Jordan Brennan in 3rd from Ryan Elliott. Josh Martin, super 5th place for Josh Martin here potentially. Still provisional pole with Jack Noller, and we're going to see Jack McIntyre at the moment on the front row of the grid for race 2, which will potentially keep him. I need to look at the point scenario actually between Jordan Brennan and Jack McIntyre. Jordan in P3 is 15 points, and Jack Mack at the moment in 11th is 5, so 10 points coming out of the 17. If that result was repeated in race 2, Jordan Brennan would grab 2nd in the sim racing category, so it's all important points wise, and so glad I've got my Maths O level from back in the day. Here comes Dan Zelos having a look now, goes to the outside, then tries the inside line on Josh Hislop. Dan, of course, racing in the Touring Car Championship this afternoon as well, so you're very welcome to join us. Well, not me, or Anthony, I don't think, for that matter, but my Friend and colleague David Addison calling that one to keep things real in the touring car world as well, and Dan will be racing in that, as will Mike Epps. And Zelos goes off, big moment on the grass. That is going to be points over for Dan Zelos. Runs 4th in the Real World Championship, which he will retain. He's only 2 points, was 2 points ahead of Robbie Stapleton coming in here. So Zelos down in 13th place after his recovery, just ahead of Liam Lambert. Liam might fancy an extra point, but goes off as Josh Hislop now has got Jack McIntyre on his inside and up into 9th place. So McIntyre coming back into play after that, after losing out a couple of positions earlier on, is coming back into play. This is all good for McIntyre, consolidating that 2nd position. Anton's so key, he wants that test drive, doesn't he?
Absolutely, although...
Yeah, goes very wide, crosses up.
Curse of the commentator.
Curse of Mr. Neil again. Oh dear, Jack. So down to 12th place now, which is 4 points. 4 to 15, 11 points at the moment. Jordan Brennan is going to take out of that 17-point gap. So key that we keep an eye on that. So Juggy Bear, go Juggy Bear, says Kay Baker on social media. Keep the messages coming and fire any questions that you might have to us as well. What have we got? 1 minute 29 on the clock. We're watching Luke Kinsley still dicing hard, and now got the attention of Max Coates. And Max, a great chaser we've seen in this championship. I don't like seeing him start further back because it sort of smacks of him not perhaps having had the qualifying that he might want, but he always works hard, and he's a super chaser through the field, and he's caught Luke Kinsley and putting the 7th place man under pressure with just 1 minute and 1 lap to go here. Pole position for race 2 now with Jack Mack from Andy Dorman, so the complexion has changed. Points wise, still Damien Hall in 15th. Simon Reed has been passed by Tom O'Farrell, so Reed 17th, Tom O'Farrell 16th, Kenny Press 18th. Damien Hall in that last point scoring position. Liam Lambert on for 2 points in 14th place, still just behind Dan Zelos as we watch Max Coates. Look at the concentration, Anthony. He really is giving that absolutely everything.
It certainly is, and obviously, you know, in the real life, you don't really get to see people's eyes quite so clearly because they've got the crash helmet on, and it's just you only really see it if you get a front view. But no, it's really interesting to see how the drivers are concentrating here. Although I was just thinking to myself a moment ago that actually there's a couple of unforced errors really. Perhaps the concentration's starting to slip for a couple of drivers towards the end of this race.
Here comes Max down the inside line. That's a valid point. It may well be because fatigue will check in. Certainly no fatigue for Max Coates. Very neatly done. Down the inside line of Luke Kinsley. Textbook Brands. I don't like using textbook pass because it makes it sound like the pass was boring. It wasn't. It's brave stuff. It's fast stuff, but good stuff from him. As we watch Dave Marshall, as Anthony said earlier on in the race, under pressure. This is why he hasn't been able to close down on Mike Epps. Mike's been quick enough on his own anyway. But we've had this cat mouse going on between Marshall and Brennan for 2nd place. The clock has run down, and it was after they crossed the line, so there should be another lap after this one. This should be the penultimate lap of the race as they come up towards Hawthorne once again. Dave Marshall in the 66 car, still there running in P2. Jordan Brennan is in P3, but gunning to get another place up, and he might be, not sure how or where he will be of the points. Probably knowing Jordan's podium interviews, he won't have a clue about the points where he is. Wayne Gimbert says, come on Coates. I wonder if he's related to Charlie, who was in Lovejoy. Again, another age related joke there. Lee Borner says, go on Max. Hi Lee, good to have you along for the ride today, and thanks for posting. Great battle for P2, and Brennan pulls it off. Goes through Jordan Brennan. The work paying off here. So Brennan, what is Dave Marshall going to do on this last lap? Let's see if the machine can go through. Mike Epps well clear at the moment. Jordan Brennan up into P2. Michelle Dunn says yes on social media as he goes up into that 2nd position. So 17 points potentially for him in this one. Jack McIntyre still in 12. 17 to 4, 13 points out of the 17 being negated here. It's going to be nail-biting stuff to see whether Jordan, and very definitely a little bit of track limits there. Brands Hatch returns to Rallycross. The venue of the Super Prix back in the 1980s, of course, Brands Hatch, and we saw some super racing back in the day from that discipline. There is Etch disappearing in the distance on this, the last lap, but McIntyre is going to be on pole at the moment for race 2. Andy Dorman will be alongside him. Be good to see Andy on the front of the grid as Jordan Brennan now he's got that gap over Dave Marshall here. So Jordan Brennan in the Mick Molly Riggs Esports car running well. The inset shows the race leader heading down into Stirling's for the last time. It's been a clear run for Mike Epps, pretty much untroubled. So he's just had to keep his head, concentrate on his lines, concentrate on his driving. Had the restart to deal with, of course, behind the safety car, but heading down to another win and consolidating the Real World Drivers Class Championship. It's Mike Epps who takes the win here at Brands Hatch. It's going to be Jordan Brennan in P2. A little bit of showboating there from Mike Epps, and we'll get the chance to talk to him once again as well. 4th position goes to Ryan Elliott. Good drive from Ryan Elliott in 4th place. Josh Martin is in 5th place. Then Max Edmondson in 6th. Max Edmondson, of course, keeping himself there in 2nd position in the Real World Driver standings. Max Coates was next up. Then Luke Kidsley. A good end of race dice between Coates and Kidsley. Josh Hislop, of course, we saw Max Coates pass in the later stages of the race, finishes in 9th place. Jack Noller in 10th. Andy Dorman is in 11th and starts on the front row alongside Jack McIntyre. So the drivers are in as the last couple of drivers come across the line. Alfie Denny and Craig Timmins. Let's go down onto our virtual podium and talk to the man in 3rd place. Whenever we talk to him in race 1, there's always a lot of work for him to do in race 2. Our champion, Dave Marshall. Congratulations on taking the championship, Dave. But a hard race. You were tipped for the win by Antony Williams, but 3rd place and a great race there with Juggy Bear.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I knew probably in the run-up to this week that first wasn't necessarily going to be on the cards. It's been the focus on the touring cars for this week. You know, I got the championship last week, so you know you've got to prioritise what you think's right to do. Yeah, that Mike's always had the pace at this track, and also I had Max Edmondson down as being a definite front runner. He definitely had the pace in practice, but yeah, you know, a bit gutted to lose out onto 3rd on the last lap. But I don't know whether slow punches are a thing, but yeah, front right PSI was definitely down. I was down to 28 PSI, so we were struggling with front right corner definitely. So I'll give that a few clicks on in the pits before the race, and hopefully we'll have a better race too.
I hope so for you too. I can't wait to talk to you when we get you to the track for real to see how much sim experience translates to real world. You're the guy we're going to hear that from.
Can't wait for that either.
Well done on the championship, because I think it's the first time we've been able to officially say that. And 3rd place in this race, and loads of work to do for the Machine Master in race 2. Good luck for race 2, Dave, and thanks for telling to us.
Thanks, Richard.
Let's go to the man who finishes in 2nd place, or another podium to add to the catalogue, Juggy Bear. Jordan Brennan, well done. Cracking race once again, fella.
Cheers, thank you.
How hard is it to pass Dave Marshall on the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch?
Yeah. He didn't make it too difficult, to be fair, but I just made a few mistakes at the start of that race, which dropped me back behind him. And I think, yeah, as he said, he had an issue with his tyres. And I could see he was slower than me, but yeah, he didn't make it too difficult for me.
How much are you thinking about 2nd position in the sim racer category? Because it does mean a test day in a Cooper car, which I know is going to be important to you. And you took, I think, 14 points out of Jack Mack in that race. So how much is that on your mind?
To be fair, going into this, I wasn't thinking about it too much, because I think he was like 17 points ahead, but he's got reverse grid, so I don't know. I'll see what I can do anyway.
I think you need to take 3 out of him. So, well, good luck for the race. It's going to be fascinating for us to watch it. Whatever happens, I think we're going to see you at a touring car round, because you get the VIP day with us at one of the rounds anyway. So, Jordan, well done on another podium, and we'll see you a little bit later on the race too. So that just leaves our winner. It was pole position and a lights to flag victory for Mike X. Was there any pressure in that, Mike? Safety car didn't seem to really give you too much pressure. You drove away again.
Yeah, it was fairly straightforward. That I noticed yesterday that I've got really good race pace as well. I can hold the lap time. I mean, I was doing 35.4s at the end, which is more or less the best lap time of the rest of the field. So I appreciate they were all racing as well, so there is a bit of that. But just feeling really smooth today. It's going to be a case of putting together a nice drive through now, because if I'm too shy at the start, you can just get stuck in 10th or 9th, sort of battling with 3 wide battles ahead of you, and it all gets a bit messy. So really important now to get this right. But yeah, solid run. Yeah, not much else to say. It seems really simple. You're nice and easy when it's easy, and it's hard when it's hard, isn't it?
Is it that easy? Is it easier to make a mistake when you're on your own though, and 2.5 seconds clear?
It can be, but I seem to be in that mental frame this morning where everything's just going really, really well. So I'm just, staying calm, keeping the heartbeat low, and keep going, really.
You're on a roll, and it was the bacon roll, as we heard earlier on.
Definitely the 4 bits of bacon. I swear by it. I swear.
You heard it here first last week, and again reiterated this week. 4 bits of bacon, red sauce tomatoes.
So you get a bacon sponsor. I need one.
That's a good idea, one to look for. So there's Mike Epps. Congratulations on a great drive and a win. Mike Epps takes the win in race 1 of our final weekend of our second series of mini eSeries racing. We now look, of course, to race 2. The cars are going to be virtually lining up with Jack McIntyre on pole position. Going to have to at some point scribble down the points between himself and Jordan Brennan. It was I think a 14-point reduction, wasn't it, on the provision. Andy Dorman on pole, beg your pardon, written down in the wrong order. Andy Dorman on pole, and alongside him is Jack McIntyre, and there is Andy in the 40 car, the Eden Garage Motorsports car. Sim Racer, 18th in the championship. The lights are already on. Out go the lights, and we are mini racing once again. Andy Dorman and Jack McIntyre. Who is going to grab the lead down into paddock? For sure, Jack Mac will have a look around the outside, but he might be mindful of those bits for the test drive. Gets a good run and sees a gap on the inside line as they come up to Druids, and it's Jack McIntyre that goes through. The silent assassin is through into the lead. Andy Dorman down into P2. Josh Hislop is third. Hislop third. Luke Kinsley in 4th position, getting stuck in. There is Josh Hislop in 23. Love the reverse grid racing, such a great feature of mini racing as they go through 30s for the first time. Everybody through cleanly. Hopefully no safety car on this race. As round the outside line goes Jack Noller, who is forced off there by the 23 car. Josh Hislop went a little bit wider than Jack Noller wanted him to, and it's Max Coates up into 3rd. So Coates now chasing and looking to try and sign off the season with another podium, possibly a win if he can get his skates on. Coming through as well is Ryan Elliott. Another very strong opening lap from Ryan Elliott, who qualified so strongly for race number 1. So sharp end of both. To remember him, he must be a attached specialist here. He's quick on the other tracks, but just seems to have a little bit more of an edge, Ryan Elliott, here at Brands Hatch. And even though this was a reverse grid race, he was a fair way down, Ryan Elliott. So fair play to him on this opening lap as Dan Zelos tries to go through on the inside line now as well. Josh Martin in the mix too. Beg your pardon, that's Josh Martin, not Dan Zelos, side by side, really getting stuck in. And coming through as well is Mike Epps, who's up into P7. Anthony, frenetic stuff at the start.
I just couldn't keep up with what's going on there. It was everything was going on, absolutely.
Josh Martin having a great run. He is side by side there with Dan Zelos. So looking with Mike Epps through on the inside line. Mike with a little bit more thinking perhaps to do in this one with traffic to deal with, as we heard from him on the podium. Out of Druids they go. Dave Marshall looking to work his way through as well. He's thought it sounded a little bit like it could have come out the driver's excuse, but they have got the touring car race on this afternoon, and several more rounds of that to go. And Dave's already got a Scar Mini there in the 66. He doesn't want to be doing that to your car, does he, when he races it out?
Well, hopefully not, but it is mini racing, so we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, there's usually a little bit of contact. One Clark actually said to me, if there's no damage and if people aren't doing track, then they're simply not trying. And there is an element of truth in that. Nice flame out there from Luke Kinsley trying to get on terms with Dave Marshall. Kinsley in 6th position. It's been odd not having Luke up on the podium in these races. He was a podium regular last year. Quick look down at the points. Liam Lambert, consistent point scorer now. He's in 13, just behind Max Edmondson, Tom O'Farrell 14th, you can see him in the points. Then Damien Hall and Speedy Reid is in 15th place actually now into the points. Up into the points goes Simon Reid from Luke Kinsley, who dropped down. So Luke was pushed wide, and it changes the points complexion, but good to see new drivers coming through. Dan Zelos up into 7th place, you can see there, and now chasing Mike Epps. The two 10-10 teammates coming towards us now. The black and red of Dave Marshall 5th, Mike Epps 6th, Dan Zelos there in 7th position. It's still McIntyre, Andy Dorman doing a great job here. We are very nearly at a quarter distance, and he's still in P2, or was. Josh down to 4th again. Cursor the commentator for Andy Dorman. It's Ryan Elliott that goes up into 2nd place. Super drive from Elliott in this one. Max Coates still in 3rd. 16 minutes on the clock. We ride alongside Damien Hall, looking immediately ahead at Tom O'Farrell. If we were racing for real, two of the longest travellers, and Damien thoroughly enjoyed it. The grin in race 1 when he was having that battle was absolutely superb. Really enjoying his racing. I'm being told off for mentioning bacon butties on social media. I think we're making people hungry talking about that. Great to have Paul Belcher cheering on Max Coates, Mark Russell contributing to the mix as well. Social media. And here is Max Coates. This is for 2nd place. Ryan Elliott in the number 2 car and Max Coates. Should they work together here, Anthony, do you think, and try and close down on Jack Mack, or are they just going to get engaged in their own battle?
I mean, the theory of it would be they ought to try and work together, shouldn't they? Because clearly a win is more important than 2nd or 3rd place. But I don't really think that drivers tend to do that much. When it comes down to it, they just want the position.
Yeah, absolutely right. McIntyre out front at the moment, outscoring Jordan Brennan, so heading for that test in the Mini Coopers. So this is the battle for 2nd. Max Coates, we're still waiting with bated breath to see Max's announcement for this year. Very much hoping he's going to stay with JCW Mini Racing. Still got the start of the season set in the real world for May. I know there's been a little bit of talk about dates being put back. I think the Thruxton race, which is Cooper's, they've already confirmed at the moment still going ahead, but behind closed doors. But Max Coates has got damage, so Coates has got some damage there by the look of it. Just had his nose down the inside line, didn't work. Dave Marshall closing in on him, so Marshall here from the 5th row of the grid is up challenging for a podium, so the pressure is off. Jack Mack still out front. Julie McIntyre saying come on Jack Mack. Wedgwood saying come on Mack can do this, and Dan Zelos challenging Andy Dorman. Had a few opening laps did Andy Dorman. Juggy Bear in the mix there as well. The 3rd of these 3 cars, 3rd in the Sim Racing Championship. Matt Richards 4th, driver not with us this weekend sadly. So Dan Zelos still trying to dislodge Andy Dorman, who's done a super job here in the 40 car. And you can see Zelos on the inside line in the 45 Devanti Esports car has got that move done, 6th position. Jordan Brennan coming up into the mix as well, still Jack Mack out front by 2.6 seconds over Ryan Elliott. Mike Epps now is in 3rd from Max Coates and Dave Marshall, and Dan Zelos through into 6th for Andy Dorman, back through on the inside line. Jordan Brennan sees the gap as well. This is all getting very, very physical indeed as they head up towards Druids, but Zelos back into 6th, got good momentum there. Super overhead shot as they go around Druids. Josh Hislop, you can see on the outside line, which converts to the inside at Graham Hill Bend, will come through on the inside line of Andy Dorman to consolidate 7th place. Andy Dorman in the Eden Garage car running well. Max Edmondson is 9th, then Jordan Brennan. Wherever you look, there are some real good, solid drivers that are capable of wins, capable of podiums all the way down the order in this race. Josh Martin down in 16th, trying to get in the points, which are currently rounded out by Simon Reid. Josh Martin up into 15th because Tom O'Farrell has had a moment and dropped back down behind Kenny Press. Craig Timmins still in 19th place. Alfie Glennie in 20th. So Andy Dorman in the 40 car, 50 points to his credit so far in the championship. Looks like it could be a healthy ad here if he can stay where he is, as we watch Max Coates still in the mix ahead of Dave Marshall. Max riding on board with the 4th place car, has a look. Dave Marshall right behind him. Dan Zelos in 6th place. And Max, if we were looking ahead, would be chasing Mike Epps, who is in 3rd from 12th on the grid. So good stealthy stuff from Mike Epps as they come along the main straight here at Brands Hatch. Ryan Elliott is 2nd. So the group ahead, you see Jack McIntyre away in the distance. Ryan Elliott kind of looks like the race leader here as we again stay focused on Max Coates, who grabs a bit of inside line, not absolutely tight on the inside, but just enough to be defensive from Dave Marshall, who wants to get up with his teammate if he possibly can. Max not defensive at all going into Graham Hill Bend in the Cirrus Primex car, and gets good momentum there along Cooper Straight and up into Surtees, but Mike Epps through on the inside line, challenging Ryan Elliott for 2nd place. Epps is through, and a little nudge on the side of Ryan Elliott's car, so Elliott moved into 3rd. Just going to see whether Elliott could just draw himself level again and maybe repay the compliment. He's down in 3rd. This is measured stuff, I think, from Ryan Elliott, who might fancy he's got the speed, but Epps, as we said, has had great race pace over the course of the day so far, as well as qualifying pace, and it's Epps up into P2. They are 3.4 seconds down on Jack McIntyre, but we still have half the race to go. McIntyre with the 3-second lead and looking for 2nd position in the championship. We are, by the way, at the end of the day, the end of this race, we have the normal podium introduced, and then we're going to have a chat with the top 3 in each class as well, so please do stay with us for that before you disappear off for your own bacon rolls. Oh, Max Coates grabs a bit of curb, dislodges the car, and through on the inside line goes Dave Marshall into P4. So Coates has got work to do to try and climb up now. He's got Dan Zelos closing in on him, but that is Dave Marshall into 4th. He's still got one car between himself and his teammate because Mike Epps is P2, Ryan Elliott 3rd, Dave Marshall is in 4th place, and we're riding behind the 5th place man, Max Coates, on board with Dan Zelos, Josh Hislop 7th, Max Edmondson 8th, Jordan Brennan 9th, Dan Dorman's 2 in the top 10, ahead of Luke Kinsley and Josh Martin, Liam Lambert 13th. The point scorers currently rounded out by Damien Hall and Jack Noller. Simon Reed chasing them hard to try and get into the points again. Into Surtees, about to go on to the Grand Prix loop once again. So Max Coates punished by hitting that curb, and you just saw how much momentum was lost, and Dave Marshall is away and down the road now out of this battle, and to a certain extent Max Coates is going to have to go a little bit defensive here from Dan Zelos, another mini challenge JCW real world driver who's going to put pressure on one of his comrades from last year, Anthony.
No, very much so, and it's interesting with Mike and Dave. Ultimately, even with these reverse grids, the cream rises to the top, doesn't it?
They always come through, don't they? Yeah, absolutely right. And you know that's why they're 1 and 2 in the championship, and it's why the format works, isn't it? For in the real world, in the sim world, having reverse grids, it doesn't have any adverse effect on championships at all.
Not in the end. Ultimately, the passing is something that the top drivers tend to be good at too, so they do get that opportunity just to gradually move their way forward. But it does give some other drivers the opportunity to get some good TV coverage and experience being at the front. Good battle here though between Max and Dan, as you say, real world competitors, and very much I think tough competition between these two. Good move there by Dan.
Yeah, Dan's just about managed to outfox him. I don't know whether Max's car has taken a little bit of a pounding here and there, whether the curving has affected the handling on the 71 car, but Dan Zelos through into 5th. Max Coates, it's not going to be a podium for him. So you look back to Damien Hall, Jack Noller dicing it out for that final championship point. Very, very tight here indeed. So Damien Hall at the top of this group, in front of this group here. Liam Lambert ahead of him, by the way, at the end of Cooper Straight. Damien Hall 14th, Jack Noller 15th. So these are the last 2 point scorers. As Max Coates has fought back and got his nose in front again of Dan Zelos, but Zelos on the inside line here as they go into Hawthorne. This is brave stuff from Max Coates, held on superbly, and Zelos looking to come. This is bringing Josh Hislop into the mix as well in 7th position, but a great race between these 3 as Antony called out, and Dan Zelos trying to get back in, but super move by Max Coates as they go through Dingledale, Sheen curve heading down into Sterling's again. This is Sterling's corner. Sarah Bird says go on Damien Hall. Guy Malone says congratulations Dave Marshall for winning the Sim Championship. He's going to wrap up the overall title as well. But Max Coates, hard work to get back in front, and then you have even harder work because you've got the likes of Dan Zelos and Josh Hislop behind you, gunning to get the position back. It is absolutely relentless. And look at Zelos, he's afforded the option of taking a wide line into Paddock Hill Bend, and this could give him more momentum down at the bottom of Halewoods, who will look at the inside line. It's exactly what would happen in the real world, and try and get up the inside, which Max has to defend. This is of course allowing Dave Marshall to get away even further as they battle hard. So Marshall got this luxury of 4th place now. Still Jack McIntyre out front, 2.1 seconds clear of Mike X, Brian Elliott and Dave Marshall. 6 minutes on the clock. Anthony, put you on the spot. Do you think Mike X is going to be quick enough to close down on Jack Mack? Are we going to have a last lap battle?
I was just trying to work that out, and I think it is possible. The rate of decline of the gap, I think it is still possible that he could do it.
That will be some feat if Mike Epps can, well, close him down in the first place. The gap now down to 1.9 seconds between McIntyre and Epps. Ryan Elliott still in a very healthy 3rd place, but under pressure from Dave Marshall. This is the battle we're looking at for 3rd place, the last podium position. The 10-10 boys, of course, want to get themselves both on our virtual podium, but Ryan Elliott, as we've seen, very, very quick youngster, and running in the real world category. We're going to see him in the Coopers, I think, this year. Is that right?
Sorry, Richard. I was still trying to work out this possibility, and in relation to Mike being able to catch, and he's dropping the gap by around about 3/10 every 30 seconds. So
wow.
It's possible.
Yeah,
Go back to your question. Could you repeat that again for me?
Yeah, I was just saying the 2nd place, Ryan Elliott here is down to the real world race, and we're hoping to see him in the Coopers this year. I've seen that he has got a car, but I'm not sure where he is on registrations and such like.
To be honest, I'd have to go back and check. There's so many on the list. I've got lost as to how many, which ones are racing, which ones aren't.
I know he's very much hoping to, and building on the experience that he had last year in the eSeries and showing himself to be a good racer here in the 02 car. The Mad for Mini Motorsport real world campaigner, 14th overall in the championship, is Ryan Elliott, and hasn't had the rub of the green this year. To be fair, at some of the rounds we would have, if you'd have asked me for a prediction at the start of the year, I would expect him to be much higher up. But it is all about how things pan out for you fortune-wise, and this is what he's capable of. Great racing, as you can see, scuffs on the side of the car, and working hard, defending from our champion for this year. Dave Marshall might have been saying earlier on that he was thinking very much in terms of prep this weekend about the touring car E-Series, but his mind is very much here on the job of trying to get through into 3rd place ahead of Ryan Elliott. Here we come down into Stirling's Bend again. Great bit of camber on that corner. Dan Zelos ahead now of Max Coates on the inset. So Zelos 5th, Max Coates in 6th. Max will fight back again. It really is a job to know where to look. Josh Hislop, a little bit of drift of those two. Max Edmondson and Jordan Brennan trying to close up in the mix as well. Brennan in 9th place will consolidate 3rd in the Sim Racer Championship standings. It's down the inside goes Dave Marshall. Very neat move. Again, I hate to use the phrase textbook. Max Coates doing the same as well, but going a little bit wider, and Zelos coming back through on the inside, which is something that Dave Marshall managed to get across in the gate from Ryan Elliott. So it's Marshall up into 3rd, but good clean racing from the pair of them. Now, having said that, Coates is still there. Coates in 5th position. Dan Zelos has got the work to do, and again, because they're squabbling, it's bringing the other 3 cars behind them, Josh Hislop, Max Edmondson and Jordan Brennan, right into the mix as well. But fair play to Max Coates and Dan Zelos and Max Edmondson getting stuck into Josh Hislop. Cracking E-Series mini racing once again, Anthony.
There's a lot of action going on there. To be honest, it looks like a disaster waiting to happen with those 5. But fingers crossed they can hold it together for the rest of the race. That gap between Mike and Jack up at the front was dropping fast. It stabilised for a lap or so, and now it's dropping again. So, yep, still possible, but it's going to be tough.
He's in his sights now, as we saw from that shot. We ride on board with Max Edmondson. Inside line of Josh Hislop. Is he going to be able to pull this one off? Rides across the grass. If it had been a wet morning, that might have been a disastrous move. We tend to see that at the touring car meetings, because this meeting traditionally, of course, held towards the end of the year, and it can be very, very slippery indeed once you get over the grass. But Edmondson's still very much in the mix, challenging Josh Hislop. Jordan Brennan at the back of this group, an incredible 5-car train. Andy Dorman on his own, still in 10. A decent drive again from Andy Dorman in this one as we go into paddock. Hislop on the inside, Edmondson to the outside line, might go for the cutback, but that leaves the gap for Jordan Brennan to come through. Jordan read that well. Is he going to draw level with him, Jordan Brennan? No, he can't quite do that, didn't have the momentum, and obviously didn't want to get into clattering the car in front. Josh Hislop getting away from those two now, so Max Edmondson has got a bit of work to do to catch up with Josh Hislop, who's trying to get himself on the back end as Jordan Brennan goes wide. Dan Zelos up ahead again of Max Coates. Those two have had a real ding-dong between the two. Probably need to start thinking about driver of the race, driver of the day. Driver of race one for me, I think, is probably Mike Epps, and might be again in this one. Sorry to go with the winner, which is not something I usually do. But the gap now is down to 0.8 of a second. McIntyre to Epps as we watch Josh Hislop now back with Dan Zelos, who comes towards us still in 5th place. Max Coates right behind him. Josh Hislop might be in a position to challenge Max Coates very shortly as well. Into Sheen Curve, out of Sheen Curve down towards Stirling, so ticking off another lap. 54 seconds on the clock, half a second the gap between McIntyre and Epps. There is no question that Mike Epps is putting absolutely everything into closing down on the silent assassin Jack Mack.
He sure is. I've been watching that gap, and he gets stabilised and then again, and then Mike's been able to really take a lot out of the lead in the last 30 seconds or so.
Really gunning for it is Mike Epps, and what a way to go out if he could catch him. Quite another if we get another finish. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Simon Reed, 16th place. This is for the last point. I think he's going to get it on the inside line of Kenny Press. Be good to see Kenny Press pick up some points. But he's going to be, I think, denied because Simon Reed looking down on the inside line. Kenny getting the wider lines as they go into paddock. Runs wide and ultimately through. On the inside goes Simon Reed. I think Luke Kidsley not too far behind as well. There is Kidsley, number 8 car. In fact, Kidsley goes up into 15 and takes that potential championship point away. But it was nice to see Kenny Press in 15. But had a little bit of pressure to Kenny Press there. We are on board and watching Mike Epps. You can see the gap has come down. And it is a battle for the lead. I think we've still got a lap to go. So this has panned out superbly. Not so for Jack McIntyre, but great for viewing and great for Mike Epps, who's in P2.
Incredible drive so far from Mike to take out, what was it, 3 or 3.5 second gap by the end of, lap 2 or 3. And to now be on Jack's tail, put him under pressure for the last lap and a half or so of the race. Very impressive stuff.
It is very, very much so, and I'll tell you what, this could not have worked out better for us. We had super racing at Silverstone, and we've got great racing at Brands Hatch. Silverstone and Brands, of course, for me, the two key names that you talk about in British motorsport, really iconic tracks, homes of the British Grand Prix for many, many years. Epps now on this last lap, he's trying to turn up the wick and closes in as they go in towards Druids. Is he going to be able to get past Jack McIntyre? Still there out front at the moment. Out of Druids, down to Grant Hill Bend, you can see Epps under no pressure at all from behind, can just take the optimum line. Runs a little bit wide there. Let's see if he can get a run through into Surtees. Not seen any passes here today, but he's going for it down the inside line. And Mike Epps goes for the lead side by side with Jack McIntyre and goes through. Epps has got the lead on the last lap. Antony, superb.
Really great bit of driving there. Could see he was just turning up the wick, as you said earlier, slingshot past through Surtees. A little bit of contact possibly on the exit. Hopefully that won't be looked at too severely, but it'll be interesting to see how Jack fights back now in the last half a lap or so.
Well, Jack McIntyre has driven superbly off the front, you have to say, and he's still in line for that Mini Cooper test, which is going to be great to see. Meanwhile, Dan Zelos and Max Coates are still very much squabbling over mid-place. Coates with his nose in front momentarily. The Devancy car of Zelos gets back in front. Coates will not give up on this last lap. Battle on for the lead. Jack McIntyre's going back for the lead as well on the inset. This is the battle for the lead. McIntyre wants to win the last round. He's going to look on the outside line here, but I think Epps has got it covered. Jack Mack's going to go on the inside line as they come off Clark Curve and onto the Brandon Straight. But surely it's going to be Mike Epps that's going to take the win. Epps with a last lap manoeuvre. Great right back from Jack McIntyre, but it's Epps that takes the win. McIntyre second. Dave Marshall will complete the podium in third place. Here is the battle now. Max Coates is back into fifth. Coates is fifth from Dan Zelos. What a race they have had. but it's Epps, McIntyre and Marshall. Ryan Elliott, the man I did mention, got 4th place. Great drive again from Ryan today. 4th position, Max Coates 5th, Dan Zelos 6th, Max Edmondson next up from Josh Hislop. There is Simon Reed, 16th place, just outside of the points. The last points going to Luke Kinsley, 15th. Jack Noller ahead of him in 14th. Ian Lambert again in the points in 13th place, as indeed was the Copper Piston Damien Hall in 12th. Great result from him. Josh Martin 11th, Andy Dorman in 10th position. And that was a last lap finish, a last lap pass for the lead to wrap up our second series of mini challenge eSeries racing. What a way to finish. And we need to have a word with there's the result. Epps from McIntyre and Marshall, 1:35.2, I think the fastest lap of the race for Mike Epps. But let's have a word with the man who finished in 3rd place and wraps up his championship winning campaign with another podium. It is Dave Marshall. Dave, are you there? Congratulations.
I am indeed, Richard. How are we doing?
Oh, you get a breather now. For how long?
Probably an hour. Wow, what a race that was. Mega race with Luke Kidsley there. Phenomenal race, and then to come through with Ryan, I knew he was going to defend quite hard, but to be fair, he had really good pace still. So he definitely did make it easy. I gave him a slight tap going up onto the straight, which was just a lack of judgment by me, but gave the place back. And yeah, we raced fairly, and what a race that was. But absolutely chuffed to take the overall, I believe, provisionally. So fair play to Mike. The pace he had this weekend was outstanding. It just shows what a class of driver he really is, whether it's behind the real wheel or on a sim. Couldn't be a better teammate, could he really?
No, do you know what? It's some good races here, some good people. It's been a pleasure to hook up with everybody on this championship. So, Dave, we'll talk to you about the championship in our Zoom chat after we finish the podium here. But congratulations, great drive again in the reverse grid up into 3rd place. Great to see you there. Well done. So let's have a word with the Silent Assassin, finished in 2nd position. Massive lead in the early stages of the race, Jack McIntyre. And you were fighting back right the way to the flag. We thought you were going to get him back at one stage, Jack. Tough race, though.
Yeah, it's tough. I think that the end of that race kind of sums up the season, really. There's been a lot of what-ifs and a lot of nearlies. Just never really had the car under me, definitely this week. Really, really struggled to find the pace. So, after race 1, I was concerned. I knew Jordan had really pulled back the gap in the points, so I knew I just needed to get out front and not bin it. So that's what I did, and then I saw Mike catching, so I just tried to keep my eyes forward, and it was kind of inevitable really what was going to happen. But yeah, still happy with that, and happy with 2nd as well.
Vice champion in the sim category, and you must be looking forward to the Mini Cooper test.
Yeah, that'll be brilliant. That's I've still got the one from the last season as well, so it seems to be set up for quite a testing campaign.
It's all good experience, though, isn't it? And the more that you have, I suppose the more there's an itch to scratch getting out there for real.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, it's kind of the dream, really, and I'll never turn down a day in a race car on a track. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to seeing you there too. So very well done on that drive, Jack McIntyre. Let's go to our race winner from 12th on the grid. Incredible stuff. A dominant day today. Mike Epps, many congratulations, Mike. That must have been hard work, though.
Yeah, it was. I absolutely loved Brands GP. I think this has reasserted it as my favourite track in the UK now, definitely. I always struggled to choose between here and Alton, but I mean, now it's got to be Brands, hasn't it? So, absolutely.
Oh, between the two, for me, Brands Hatch GP all day long.
It's in the better part of the country, eh? I've got someone else in Discord moaning about that now. Cheers, Mike. Yeah, really good weekend. I always get on well with circuits with undulations and ups and downs because there's variable amounts of load and grip you can put through the car, and I just really enjoy the complexity of that as a driver. So it's the same on here, it's the same in real life. I seem to go really well here, as I had my best results in touring cars pretty much were here.
Yeah.
So yeah, mega, really good. Quick shout out to like all the guys who have actually raced this season. Is like McIntyre's incredibly fast in a lot of different cars on a lot of different sims. You know, I've raced him on iRacing and lots of other things. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how all the sim guys get on, those that have real life car testing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they go and finding out and talking to them during it, because I'm really I'm striving to push for getting sim guys into real cars and seeing how they adapt and giving them a chance to experience for real what I've been fortunate enough to do. So it's an awesome championship. It's an awesome setup from virtual reality racing club, get me words out, and all of you guys as well. It's awesome to kind of replicate a real life TOCA support championship, and I think it's been really entertaining these last 2 races as well.
The whole year's been entertaining, but from your point of view, I don't think there's any doubt that we have to, from my point of view, we have to say that you are driver of the day today. I'm going to say well done, Mike. We'll catch up on the Zoom chat in a minute, because we're going to chat to our podium finishers in all the championships, but well done on a great day today.
Cheers, mate. I'll send a couple of pints in the post.
So very quickly, before we move on to our champions chat, which we've featured in, I've got to ask, Antony, driver of the day today?
I think you called it. You just can't look any further than Mike to achieve that reverse grid win in such amazing style. I think you've got to give it to Mike.
Yeah, absolute dominance, wasn't it? Coming through from 12th on the grid in that one, pole position up front. So absolutely superb job from him all day long. I'm going to give a shout out to Ryan Elliott as well. I don't know if we've got Rich Hayden joined us. I think we had a user joining our channel. So, Rich, driver of the day today.
Hello, guys. That was exciting, wasn't it? Very exciting. Great last few laps from Mike Epps and Jack Mack. Definitely Mike for me, driver of the day. What a performance. The guy's a superstar, isn't he?
Yeah, incredible stuff. But hats off to everybody on the grid that put on some good entertainment. And again, there was stuff to follow right the way down the order, even to the last championship point, which was being fought out. Right, Kenny Press, bless him, was in with a shout of getting that point and just missed out running wide, which was a pity. And it's important for those guys. Those guys have entertained us just as much as the guys at the sharp end.
Absolutely, yeah, and I can't thank all the competitors enough for being involved. It's been a great season too. Very, very pleased with how it's gone, and just thank you to everybody as well. I just need to do another shout out as well. There's a driver that's not with us today, Rob Butler, who, as you know, has been very at the leading edge all the way through the championship. He's currently sat at his other half's side in hospital as she's been induced into labour, and they're expecting their first child very soon. So good luck, Sarah. Good luck, Rob. I hope everything's going okay, and hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, it's a valid excuse, isn't it? So best of luck to them. Sending our best wishes. They won't be watching now, but on the catch-up, hopefully.
Absolutely.
And hopefully catch Rob Butler again very shortly. So, Rich, I need to check with Mike as well, who Mike thought was driver. But I expect it's going to probably be Mike Epps again. Mike Yao, driver of the day. Mike's telling us that it was Mike Epps as well, so unanimous stuff. But what superb racing we've had again over this 8-week run. I think we can maybe move to our champions chat. We've got a Zoom room set up with the top 3 in each of the... And there we are. Hello everybody. I know you haven't seen us on camera, certainly commentary-wise for a while. But we're going to have a word with the prize-winning drivers in the championship. And superb prizes we've had. I'm going to start with the real world drivers, and we'll do it in reverse order like we do with the grids, which means that we need to get the candles lit and chat to Max Coates, who's there in P3. Max, you get some serious kit, don't you, as your prize for 3rd position. I want to talk a bit about today's race, because you and Dan were at it like madmen today. It was a cracking race you two had. Don't think Max Coates can hear us. Has he not joined us? So let's have a quick word with Max Coates, 3rd position in the Real World Drivers Championship. And Max, just saying, tell us about the kit that you get as your prize for 3rd place in this championship, and also about the mega moments you had today with Dan Zelos. What a race that was.
Yeah, absolutely. The race today with Dan was really good. The kit that I'm getting, I'm not coming across twice. I've got the stream up so I can see what's going on. Cool. Yeah, great race with Dan at the end there. I kind of realised the podium wasn't on, and yeah, apologies on the stream to Andy Dorman, because quite honestly, it was a full-on punt from me, and I really didn't mean to do that. Just, I think I've already messaged him. He said he braked a little bit early, and I braked a bit late, and unfortunately that put us both back. But yeah, great race at the end with Dan, which was good fun. I could see Max Edmondson was a bit down the pack, so I was just trying as hard as I could to get a win. I knew I had some good pace and had a win here last year, but yeah, it just wasn't to me.
And Max Edmondson is the next driver we're going to chat to. Max, runner-up, vice champion in the real world category. So well done on that. And what are you going to do with your kit that you've won?
Probably sell it to my mate. I think my mate wants a sim. Or yeah, my mate needs a sim, so I'm gonna either give it to him or I don't know. I find something to do with it. To be fair,
it's a great prize, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
How have you enjoyed the first season with us? What's been your highlight on track?
Everything, to be fair. It's all been fun. Obviously, as the first season, you just try see what you can do and where your pace can lead you. But I've done quite well, to be fair.
You've done absolutely mega, mate, and great entertainment for us. Let's go to the man that won. We just heard from this guy. In fact, we've heard from him all day. Mike Epps wins the championship, and you did say last week on social media how chuffed you were with the prize that you've got. Talk us through the individual parts of the prize and what that means to you.
So, to my knowledge, the prize is like a full rigs RS5 sim. I think Rich will RS7 sim. No, it's a 5 sim. That's it. Rich will correct me. But the best bit about it for me is it's the OBP sim pedals that comes with it. So they're proper hydraulic style race pedals. So I'll probably put those on my rig and see how they are. And potentially, all depends, because there's the touring car season as well, which finishes in 3 weeks, and there's a prize for that. So if I win that, I'm going to have 2 extra sims to use. I might set up an arcade room or something in my house. I don't know, but
all round to for bacon buddies and practice.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, but certainly I'd certainly like to have a 2 rig setup in my house, and once we're allowed to use it as some sort of coaching room and some sort of actual a room where I can actually make some money out of, because there's a lot of simulator companies out there that have their own premises and stuff like that, but I don't think it's that necessary. I think for some of my private clients to be able to bring them here and do race coaching live in-house with a live server and all that kind of stuff, I think would be really cool. Plus on a Saturday night, once we're all allowed and life's back to normal, a few beers in the room with a couple of sims and a bit of head-to-head, I think it'd be really good fun.
It's great to see you appreciate the value of what it is that you've worked hard for and won. So well done for that. Let's move on to our sim category top 3. Juggy Bear, Jordan Brennan, 3rd position. And do you get a test from last year, Carrie Ford? I can't remember where we were last year on things, but you certainly get a VIP day, don't you, at the touring car rounds, and we're looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, I don't think I got a prize last season. So, yeah. The issue is I'm at almost every touring car round anyway.
Yeah, but you're a VIP now.
Yeah, but I might see what I can do with the prize. Just maybe like offer it out or do a competition or something for them. See what people want.
A good season. You always seem to me to be one of the coolest characters. You're very, very laid back in your interviews, and I think there was an occasion where I said second podium in the year. You said, "Did I have one before?" You just literally do it for the enjoyment.
I completely forgot about that race. I don't know. I just sort of I just drive for fun. But yeah, the results came along with it, and it was a good season.
Well, that's good. Well done. So 3rd position, 2nd position, the man we spoke to on the podium earlier on, Jack McIntyre, double test. And Jack, how close are you to sort of making the move into real racing? Is that a thing that will be able to happen?
I hope so. I don't know how close it is. It's tough, and especially with the things going on in the world as of late, it's I think probably even tougher. I think a lot of the big guys in things like touring cars are really struggling. So for people like me who are trying to break into it, it's doubly hard. So we'll see how it goes. It's probably an ambition I'll always have. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing you at the test, and hopefully get to see you on track one day for real as well. One guy we are going to see at the track in 2 rounds, which is going to be good, is our double champion, our overall champion, Dave Marshall. So appropriate that we come to you last of all. You've got last year's one in the bag. We're going to see you at a Toka round. We're going to see one of the other rounds as well. And what does it mean having the 2 events now to you?
I think we touched on this earlier on in the season, Richard, but like, first of all, this means like so much to me, like to win these 2 events. Yeah, this championship probably meant more than the last one. For all I know, the prize was bigger for the last one with it being a Toka round. For me, the last round, you could be outright fastest person on track. 5 points for fastest lap, 5 points for putting it on pole, and you can almost rely on your outright pace to pull you through the championship and score well. But this championship's definitely been a case of, you saw the pace Mike had. I come away with 2 podium finishes, and he hasn't really crawled that much of the points back on us. So it was definitely more about consistency and getting the results in. So yeah, that championship, for all I managed to tie it up a bit sooner than the last one, it means a heck of a lot to know I've got the racecraft to win it as well.
And are you into prepping already for going into the Cooper race? What are you doing? We had a little Zoom chat last year, but have you done anything to sort of move towards it?
So obviously, as Jack's touched on, the likes of COVID, and that's definitely, trying to get sponsorship and the likes of that. Whether or not I use these 2 events to maybe test for them the following season, rather than trying to turn, the current season into a full season, because it's one of the things, the current scenario, no one really knows what they're doing anyway, regardless of drivers to sponsorship. So it could be a case of trying to make a name for myself and use that to really push for sponsorship for the following season.
Well, that'd be a good thing to do. And if we can, for any of you guys that are out, if you need any help, if there's anything that I can do, please do give us a shout. But well done on taking the outright championship, the sim championship. Look forward to seeing you on track at one of the touring car rounds. And my hope is, my fingers are crossed, Dave, and everybody, you're all welcome to come and say hello, is that we have an open paddock this year, and that we might have to wear masks in the paddock, but I'm hoping that we actually aren't in a broadcast bubble. I hope it's an event bubble that we can all mix and get to say hello, because it really does need to open things up. So well done to our 6 podium finishers. I'm going to have a quick word with Rich Hayden as well, Championship Director. Is there going to be much work to do in judicials today? There were a few love taps here and there, and I think that's probably all they were. And you and Andy Ringland have been working so hard, but what a great 8 weeks, and it's really helped pass the lockdown big time for me.
Yeah, let's hope there's not much to do with regards to judicials. I think obviously I was watching all the way through. There was a couple of nudges here and there, but last round everything's decided. So hopefully everybody's going to be pretty sensible about putting in some protests. But obviously they'll get looked at with the usual keen eye by Andy as we go through, if we do. But in any case, yeah, a great championship. Really pleased. New guys come in. Obviously Mike's new in and has done amazingly well. With everything that he's got going on in real life with his coaching and other championships, a lot of respect there. Jack's just done an amazing job all the way through the championship as well. But also there's been, as you mentioned in commentary earlier on, a lot of other guys further down the field that have really entertained us. So really pleased. I dropped a bomb on the guys just before the race to say that we're looking at introducing weather for weather effects and rain for season 3. So everybody was pleased.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. And you got what maybe the viewers don't know is how much work everybody that's behind it, and Max himself, Andy Ringland, and Mike. Yeah, everybody working so hard to keep developing this and add to the realism and bring more. It was a lovely spread in Motorsport News this week about the touring car. They didn't mention that there was a Thought series, which is a real slap in the face, Matt. Thank you very much for that. But great for great that it's getting that publicity now in the national media and respect.
Absolutely,
and rightly so. The fact that you've got David commentating on that as well. Good.
Absolutely, and we've got a number of other publications that have contacted us since, actually, for talking about what we're going to be doing next season. Asking to be official media partners for the new championships that's coming out. So can't really talk a bit any more than that at the moment. But the fact that the national media are getting involved with this is just fantastic news.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I think that's it. I think we had the opportunity to talk to our top 3 in the Real World Championship. Max Coates third, Max Edmondson second position, Mike Epps, of course, our champion in the Real World category, Jordan Brennan third in the Sims, vice champion Jack McIntyre, Dave Marshall, double champion now in the Mini Challenge eSeries. He's there, isn't he, to be challenged time. But for everybody that's watched, any or all of the rounds, thank you ever so much for joining us. But from all of the team, the commentators that have joined me, I think one of the things that I've been particularly proud of is the effort that's been put in by all the co-commentators that we've had. And we've had new people who were doing it for the first time, who acquitted themselves superbly. We've had a really rich, diverse mix of people joining me on the comms. It's important to give those people a chance to do it, and they all, without exception, did a super job. And that was because of the great work that goes on behind the scenes. So I'm not going to witter on any more about that. I'm just going to say thank you to everybody that worked on the championship, everybody that took part, and everybody that watched. Don't forget the VRRC touring cars, which are on a little bit later on today. So watch that with David Addison delivering the goods, which is going to be superb. Does he have stabbed rats in that? I haven't heard of stabbed rat yet. Everyone's looking at me blankly as to whether we've had the David Addison stabbed rat. One of his catchphrases from ITV. I'm sure there will be a stabbed rat at some point. But I'll use that as a sign-off and say thanks ever so much for watching. Stay healthy. We look forward to seeing you all being well for Series 3 of Mini Challenge eSeries. So from all of us here, stay healthy, stay well. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.
The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.